Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University and Titans. All right, I'm not sure what to do with this. This was both great and awful at the same moment. And you gotta give the respect to both sides of that argument, man. You have to. So basically we just start off with Hawk and Dove doing their thing. They got their, first time they're putting on their costumes, first time they're going out there, and they're going to go after a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? Is he actually a pedophile? Well, he's on Megan's list, so I guess that assumes that he must be a pedophile, right? Yeah. Anyway, get into that on your own. But then we also notice that this is not your normal Hawk and Dove, or at least it's normal Hawk, but what's up with this Dove guy? Okay, so this is actually his brother. Okay, I see how they're doing this now. And then we find out later on that, this whole thing happens and then he dies and Dove, the other Dove, the new Dove's mom dies, and the same car accident, and that brings them together. When you look at the script, that should be terrible. That shouldn't work. But somehow it was a very beautiful thing. Like how they came together like that was awesome. I felt it and everything. I'm just like, damn, this is good. You know what I'm saying? And that's important that it felt good like that. Because, damn, man, you remember what I said about Zack Snyder? How he said, Christopher Nolan thinks he did The Dark Knight really dark, and Batman Begins really dark, and Dark Knight Rises really dark. F that. If I were to do The Dark Knight, I'd have Batman getting prison raped. Yeah. Well, I think that DC kind of took that and really ran the gambit with it. Like, what the frick? And they really dwelled on the scenes to make sure it sinks in. So now we've got this is going to be that turning point, all right? This is how I perceive it. This is that turning point where now fans have to make a decision. Do you want to simply sit back and say, well, if I was in that situation, I would absolutely be pissed off, and I would go and I would kill the guy, and I would do this, and I would want to do that, and I could see how he's so angry and so miserable all the time, and blah, blah, blah. And I respect that. Then there's the other fans who turn around and say, they didn't have to put him in that situation in the first place. The writers put him in that situation. The people in charge put him in that situation. The producers, the director, all these people, they put him in that situation. And you got to respect that opinion too. See, now we're getting back into the Man of Steel. This is, again, Zack freaking Snyder here in charge of the Man of Steel movie. And there's a scene where Superman kills. Superman just grabs and snaps Zod's head, breaks his neck, kills him, dead, bang, murderer. Yes, it was in self-defense. Not his self-defense. He wasn't in any danger at that particular moment. But at the end of the day, it was one of those situations where half of the audience can say, well, what else was he supposed to do? There was nothing else he could do. And then the other half of the audience says, why did they put him in that situation in the first place? It was Zack Snyder who put him in that situation. Why did he have to put him in that situation in the first place? And then there's me over here who's saying, yeah, you could have also just put his hand in front of his eyes and let him burn his hand. And he's going to be, it's going to hurt, but he'll be okay. And he can use that time to and then punch him and knock him out or something. But no, instead, Zack Snyder demanded that this was what was going to happen to show a grittier Superman. So now they went with the prison butt rape scene. It wasn't in the prison, it was in the weight room instead. They really do that? I don't care what it is that actually happened in there. Something clearly happened. They really dwelled on that. I mean, they lingered. They made sure that you saw. There was no way out. That kid was trying to get his little brother out of there, man. And his brother didn't get it. And it wasn't until later that he got it. But then, they really made it a no way out situation. They made that guy a scumbag. At the end, you guys, there's going to be some people who are going to be upset at my review, as opposed to just turning it off. Maybe throw a thumbs down on there, something. You instead, you really want to hate me or hate, my review or hate my opinion, whatever. Don't care. my review, my opinion, my channel. And I literally look at it as some people are going to try and justify this and say, but he was definitely a monster because it wasn't just him. There were pictures of other boys at the end too. Here's the part where I actually really liked what happened, because Dove said that while looking at a laptop, but it was turned so we couldn't see it. And as she was talking, she closed it. So at this point, you got to open it, probably type in a password to get in there, you know what I'm saying, and wait for it to boot up and everything. So we'll never really know, did he really do it? You know? Like, look, the whole Megan's Law thing. The Megan's Law thing is a really messed up situation. I actually know somebody who got away with not being on Megan's Law because it happened before Megan's Law actually went into place. Yeah, I know. Really freaking disgusting, right? I agree. Nonetheless, there are people who get around the whole Megan's Law thing. What do you call it? There are people who do horrible, terrible things. Is Woody Allen subject to Megan's Law? You know what I'm saying? There's some terrible people out there who do terrible things, who don't actually get in any real trouble, all right? Bill Cosby? Really? That much? Harvey Weinstein? Really? That much? Epstein, for crying out loud. Is that guy really going to get in any kind of trouble? No, him and everybody involved were exonerated before it ever went to anything. And nobody knew about it, including the victims. Dude, it's a terrible effing world that we live in. Man, did they need to put all that stuff or, anything like that in this freaking TV series? Look, we got the DCU app, all right, for DC Comics fans. Anybody can sign up. It's cool, baby. But these are superheroes. These are very specific superheroes. This isn't like the Millarverse where Mark Millar's just going to make his own superheroes and have these kinds of things happen. No. They want to use these other characters. They want to use these specific characters and do these things to them. Could you imagine opening up a comic book? Go ahead and open up a Titans comic book, Teen Titans comic book, a Hawk and Dove comic book, where you actually see something that graphic. Like, they really lingered on that stuff. I like that they were dealing with, I forget what it's called, CTE or whatever it is. Basically where, for crying out loud, concussions, and all that. I like that they're actually dealing with that sort of thing. Case in point, the Chris Benoit thing, I think, is what really brought the most attention to it. And what do I know? But my understanding is that the Chris Benoit situation was the biggest part of that. They were just about to cremate him, and his father was contacted. Hey, could we, take a look at his brain? We want to see what's going on. We might be able to figure out why he did what he did. For those of you who don't know, please look up Chris Benoit. He was an amazing wrestler and deserved so much good in the world until he did what he did, in which case it's kind of inexcusable, right? What do you call it? The thing is, though, they discovered that he had the brain of, even though he's in like his 30s or something, whatever age he was, he had the brain of like an 81-year-old, I think they said, or a 79-year-old, something to that effect. Because of what happened to his brain. Oof, wow, messed up. But I'm okay with, putting stuff like that in the comic books or otherwise. Like, it's cool, but like this excessive drawing out rapey thing. Wow, that was a bit much. All I'm saying is just take a look at it this way. Like, these are technically DC Comics' characters by hook or by crook. But all I'm suggesting is, thank God Steve Ditko isn't around to see that. Thank God Steve Ditko isn't around to see his creations treated like that. What do you think Steve Ditko would say if he saw Hawk and Dove, any iteration of them, being treated like that? Hank Hall specifically being treated like that. Where Jesus, do we have to, do I have to say, I hope that Tony Isabella goes away before DC Comics decides to make Black Lightning join up with the with Farrakhan's group and become anti-Semite? I mean, like, what are we doing here? Oh, Stan Lee's gone. Oh, thank God. So I guess now it's okay for Marvel to turn around and make Spider-Man, a mass murderer or something like that, right? Like the creators are dead. Let's just do whatever we want with them, right? I'm just, as a comic book fan, man, and trying not to even be a total purist here, Jeez, do they really need to make this so bad? We got to see a little bit of nudity in this. Okay. I don't know that it added anything to the show. Look, I'm a 43-year-old grumpy guy, apparently. You know what I'm saying? You can see my comic book reviews and see how excited I get for the comics. But, this was this necessary? Get down to bra and panties, fine. Get down to him, taking off, clothes and, seeing, his boxers or whatever. You're going to get the idea. Did they have to show the nudity? What was the purpose of that exactly? Both of them were like, oh, yeah, this nudity scene makes sense. Come on, man. Come on. So the Batawang was unacceptable, but the Hawkawang is okay? Should we just say that? Let's just call it the Hankawang, because it wasn't Hawkman. But man, just wait until DC, oh, for crying out loud. Oh, for crying out loud. So anyway, dude, I said the Hawkawang. Garter Fox is dead, man. Fine, let's just go ahead. Let's just have, Hawkman taking off his clothes and whatever. Just, oh my God. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this to these characters? Is it really necessary? Did it have to go this far? This is a way of, saying, okay, well, these characters, there's some people who are upset that the characters are so dark. Let's show them why they're so dark. As opposed to, you know what? Let's not make them so dark anymore. Let's try and bring a ray of sunshine here. Ain't no sunshine anymore. Ain't no sunshine while she's going, baby. You know that's true. Oh, this is maddening. This is maddening. I don't see a light in the future, man. I really just don't. Oh, man. like your average comic book fan who's maddeningly in love with the most popular superhero in all of comic book creation, Batman, will still typically say, oh yeah, Batman's got some psychosis going on. He's got some psychoses, in his noggin, because, his mom and dad were killed in front of him when he was 8 years old in an alley, and he kind of blames himself, as any kid would. It's realistic. It's messed up. It's tragic. But that guy ain't grown up. Nightwing did. Nightwing got out of all that. Nightwing became something better. And Bruce helped Nightwing to get over that in a really positive way. It's freaking awesome. But Batman himself, he got left behind. Bruce Wayne is still in that alley, still just seeing pearls flying all over the place and hearing gunshots. You know what I'm saying? Batman is a really dark, messed up character. Batman, at least outside of Zack Snyder's world, was not raped when he was a kid. Did not go and kill a coach. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning of his superhero career, dude, there's one dark moment in his life that he's trying to overcome, and it's still believable, and we still love these characters. I'm sorry, but the world simply isn't this dark. Oh, but if it were, then you could understand how... Dude, I can understand how any superhero became a superhero, man. I'm good with it. If I saw a freaking rocket ship, if I were driving through Kansas right now and a rocket ship fell, I would run up, fully expecting Superman to come out. I'd be so disappointed if it was some green alien, and I would stop for a second and think, maybe it's Martian Manhunter? Maybe? But I was hoping for Superman. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what else to say about this. It's way too dark. And I never once asked, I don't think anybody asked, I don't think there's, just seriously, stop for a second and be fair with yourselves, with the characters, with all of this. Was there a single person who, whether you liked the darkness or disliked the darkness, who kept on saying to yourself, I just need the darkness to be verified. I really hope that they validate the darkness and quantify it and really qualify the darkness so that all the naysayers can say, well, you know what? I guess I could see why it's so dark. No! They put them in these places. Yo, Steve Ditko was able to make Hawk and Dove believable enough as they were, and then he left the comic book and it wound up ending. But he still made it believable enough that Hawk and Dove has come back in so many different iterations, so many times. I just don't see this as, you know, the way to make Hawk and Dove believable or lovable or relatable. Just, ooh, no, not cool. They kind of grounded this whole issue a little bit with the really bad acting of the character who's playing, the person who's playing Raven. You know, Hank! I swear to God, she looked like the acting was so bad, the graphics, the CGI, it looked like back in the, what was it, the 50s when the original Wizard of Oz came out. It looked like, you know, Dorothy in the mirror, everybody's looking in the mirror and sees Dorothy. Toto? I can't find anyone. I'm lost. Eddie M. Like, that's what it looked like. That horrible, like, Julie Andrews was awesome back then, you know what I'm saying? But, like, dude, that was a long time ago when we're trying to see, like we were still trying to understand the difference between stage acting and movie acting. You know what I'm saying? So the over exuberance of motions that you have to emphasize a lot onto, like, you know, think about you know, when you're on the stage, you think about Captain Kirk, what's his name, still alive, William Shatner. We always talk about the bad acting that William Shatner had. William Shatner wasn't a bad actor; he was a stage actor. So when he did the whole I just wanted to do such, he's projecting his voice. When the boom mic is right over top of him, he doesn't have to project his voice, but he couldn't relate to that right away. It was all still kind of new to him. Overacting with the movement and things like that. You have to do that on stage. He's a stage actor. But he stopped doing that eventually. You know what I'm saying? But we still remember that stuff about him. I'm sorry. Is TV still new? Is it still too new for everybody that, you know, do you need that? Hank! Oh my God, stop. I did like that Vivaldi was in this, the ballet suite that they were doing, the 4 seasons. That was nice. It was nice. But yeah, there was just there was a lot of realism in this. There was a lot of really dark stuff in here. And if these weren't Hawk and Dove, specifically, particularly, I would say this is a really cool origin story for some other superheroes who were nameless before this particular episode. You know, let's call them Flip and Flop, all right? Who cares? Shut up. If Flip and Flop were new superheroes, better names, and this was their origin, and this whole episode was their origin story, I'd be behind it like, oh, this was awesome. This was really cool. Like, wow, this is dark as hell. Still don't think the nudity scene was necessary, but hey, whatevs. I'd be able to let it go. I'm sorry, how many people want to see the spider wang? Exactly. This, like, people freaked out seeing the Batawang. It doesn't add anything to it. What the frick? What's going on? I looked at it as, okay, they put a Batawang in the frickin' thing. I don't know why we're so upset over nudity and things like that. But, like, they just had that debacle. You'd think... Did they go back and edit it so that you wouldn't... So, like, you know, just edit that thing out. All of this, bruh. All of this. It just... This would have been such a great origin story for new characters. But no, they wanted to make them Hawk and Dove. And man, if I were Steve Ditko, I'd be infuriated. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. Hey, my recommendation is if you're going to make new characters, new superheroes, you got these really great ideas, don't work for DC when you do it, because they'll take these characters and they're simply going to rape them. They're going to, strip their clothes and be like, now you like the characters, right? I want people like my characters for the story, for the origin, for the plot, for the character development, for all these amazing aspects of the characters. If I make them dark, keep them dark. If I make them light, don't effing make them dark. That's just my opinion. But hey, that's the idea. That's what happens when a huge corporation owns your creative rights, right? Anyway, guys, the Grumpy Titans reviewer is off for now. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.